Hey Helldivers, today we've got a new patch that has arrived. We've got 12 buffs and 21 bug fixes for several issues, including audio issues that popped up recently. There are 3 new enemy variants and 1 new enemy added. There's also the brand new cave system, and I'll have a full video guide on that later on. Plus, that's not all, there's a lot more to go over. If you enjoy the content, please support the channel by tapping the like button right away. Now, let's jump right in. Okay, Helldivers, we've finally received the new cave system update. We're now on patch 01.004.00, and this patch is massive. Without further ado, we're going to start with the brand new buffs listed in the patch notes. Right under balancing, we have changes to the orbital smoke and orbital EMS. If you recall, I covered this information before because, believe it or not, these notes were supposed to be included in a previous update. Nevertheless, it has been officially confirmed. The Arrowhead developers buffed the orbital smoke by increasing the projectile damage from 0 to 300, increasing projectile armor penetration from 3 to 7, and increasing projectile demolition strength from 30 to 50. When it comes to the orbital EMS, we can see they increased projectile damage from 250 to 300, increased projectile armor penetration from 3 to 7, just like the orbital smoke, and lastly increased projectile demolition strength from 30 to 50, as you can see here. They also mentioned in the patch notes that these changes apply the stun effect on explosions, not just within the status effect volume, and this affects both the orbital EMS and mortar EMS. Not only that, they revealed that they changed how all stun explosions work. They will now initially stagger enemies that they stun. However, this means that they will not ragdoll players if hit by an explosion. So overall, those are some solid changes I absolutely love to see. Next up on the balance changes, we've got throwables, starting with the stun grenades. We can see in the patch notes that they've added a stagger effect to stun grenades. Previously set at 0, now increased to 50. This means when you toss a stun, it'll stagger them just like the urchin grenade. Speaking of which, we do have a surprising change for the G109 urchin grenade. Its staggering pulse has decreased from 15 to 0. Later today, I'll have a video out where I'll go over all these changes in game, including the brand new cave system, and provide footage on how much this has affected grenades in general, as well as the other buffs I'm about to cover. On that note, we're now going to cover the stratagem changes in the latest patch notes. Starting with the orbital EMS, its stagger strength has been increased from 10 to 50, and its staggering pulse has been decreased from 40 to 0. The mortar EMS also has a change to its stagger strength, increased from 10 to 50, with its staggering pulse decreased from 40 to 0. Lastly, we have an adjustment to the stun hell pod booster, with its stagger strength increased from 10 to 50, and its staggering pulse decreased from 20 to 0. Overall, these are solid changes to stagger strength and impulse for various grenades and stratagems. Continuing on, we have brand new missions previously discussed in the dev's deep dive video, such as the Spore Lung missions, where we'll explore giant cave systems and destroy the Spore Lung to stop the infectious gloom spread. The second mission will have us take control of the new Gator mobile oil rig to siphon the mysterious oil substance from the hive worlds. But that's not all, there's even more missions to extract resources and exterminate the deadly threats from the surface of the hive worlds. We're now moving on to discuss the gameplay section of the patch notes. The devs have listed a few changes to the hive worlds, including large randomly generated cave systems with new tactical challenges. Apparently, there will also be disgusting flora and fauna, as well as advanced terminate life, which, by the way, we'll cover in detail. As I mentioned earlier, I'll have a new video coming out later today, so keep your eyes peeled for it when it drops. Additionally, acid lakes and advanced bug spires will appear on the surface of planets taken over by the terminates. Regarding the new cave systems, you will indeed have sections of the caves with holes in the roofs that allow stratagems to be sent down, and there will be destructible walls within the caves to help you navigate more quickly and easily. Finally, in the Hive World section of the patch notes, the most important advice is, of course, to bring a flashlight. This means you'll want a weapon with a flashlight attachment, otherwise you'll face a difficult and challenging time exploring these cave systems. With that said, we're now addressing the next section of the patch notes, where the developers have introduced new enemies and talked a little bit about some of the lore. The first one we'll cover is the Ruptured Spewer, which will burst from the ground to spew undemocratic pestilence onto Helldivers. When it returns where it came from, deep below in the cave systems and whatnot, it is believed to consume its own dead to generate more corrosive acid. So yeah, isn't that just great? It appears this particular enemy doesn't mind cannibalism. The second enemy is the Ruptured Warrior. The Gloom has mutated these warriors so much that they've lost their UV insulating chitin layer, meaning they no longer have any protection from their internal organs from solar radiation damage. These new mutated Ruptured Warriors prefer burrow into open air movement, and when observed, they do this because of their subconscious shame at their own undemocratic ways. The third brand new Terminate enemy variant is the Rupture Charger. Yes, even the Chargers are mutated. These new Charger variants are armored just like before. However, scientists have discovered that these Rupture Chargers will bury themselves underground, creating tunnels beneath the surface to emerge later and attack Helldivers. The final enemy brought up in the patch notes is the one and only Dragon Roach. We've seen this enemy in the recent dev blog video, where they mentioned that the Dragon Roach will swoop down to spew air combustible acid. With all that information being said, we're now going over the final part of the patch notes regarding fixes, which I think is very important for those of you who've been frustrated with the bugs and issues running amok lately. Starting with the crash fixes and soft locks. The developers have resolved 3 specific issues: a rare crash caused by multiple players equipping the MA5C assault rifle on the Super Destroyer, a crash that could occur during hot joining, and a rare crash that would occur when dropping backpacks. Next, we have weapon and stratagem fixes, and they've finally addressed a few audio issues. First, they patched an audio bug for the Axe Last 5 Guard Dog Rover that was muted. Additionally, there are multiple audio fixes for weapons that didn't have reverb applied to them. With the audio issues addressed, there's a fix for the Hellpod payloads. The GL52 de-escalator stratagem input code has been updated to begin with a down arrow, in line with many other support stratagems. The next bug I've covered previously has now been resolved. The issue with the motivational shock booster no longer applies to enemies. They also patched a bug with the STA X3 Wasp launcher fire mode. They not only resolved that issue, but also fixed the guidance system for targeting tanks specifically. For example, in the past, if you used this spear, it wouldn't lock on correctly, and when fired, it would veer off to the right or left, missing the target you were locked onto. We're now going to go over the enemy fixes. First on the list is a change for the automaton units. They've received hydraulic leg support on dropships, so they no longer take damage when dropping. All I have to say is that it sounds very undemocratic of the devs to give the automatons such a boost. Of course, I'm joking, and that change actually makes sense when you think about it. Additionally, the developers have updated the automaton city outposts to fix a broken path and issue on bridges. The third fix is for the Illuminate enemies, who are now less likely to warp on top of destroyed outpost ship rubble. That's pretty much all they've done for the automaton and Illuminate enemies. Mission-wise, the developers have updated the design of city evacuation objectives. Citizens will now correctly evacuate and will no longer be stuck in one position or just basically running off where they shouldn't be, right? A bug I'm sure most of you have seen in the past. The next mission fix is for a variety of missions, where there was an issue with the ghost objectives that would appear during the mission complete screen. The third fix is something I wasn't aware of. Apparently, you could use the Lift 182 warp pack to destroy objectives on Sabotage Airbase, but that's no longer possible after the patch. The fourth and final fix addresses chargers that had a pathogen issue around certain bug rocks. We're now on the last set of fixes, this time covering miscellaneous issues. These include a fix for visual effects with shadows in some areas, and a fix for a strange bug with movement after falling while using the marching emote. They've also fixed chat typing animations. Apparently Helldivers will no longer suffer from fat fingers and will correctly use their writing pads when typing. The next fix is kind of sad to see, but it makes sense why they patched it. Previously, you could use the adreno defibrillator passive infinitely while inside the combat walkers, aka exosuit stratagems. The final bug fix addressed is an issue with the hell bombs, which would visually appear to explode twice when using the GL-21 grenade launcher. So overall, those are the patch notes. I think it's amazing that they've adjusted and buffed so many different things here with the stratagems and the grenades. The crash fixes and multiple fixes for audio issues specifically related to weapons and a stratagem is just phenomenal to see. So this right here is really a great patch. What I'd like to know is, what are your thoughts about the patch notes? If you have any thoughts regarding these notes, let me know in the comments below and I'll react to a few of your comments. With that said, we're now going to go over the top final comments. The first top comment is from King Zombie 97 that spoke on the post where players were complaining about weapons being OP and that they totally forgot that we were basically shooting out marshmallows and dreams out of our weapons. And yes, I completely agree to that. I don't think anyone really recalls it, or at least it feels like a dream of some sort. Yeah, dark times, definitely dark times, until the 60-day patch rolled around and things just got better and better from there on out. The second top comment is by Partisan13. You want the stuttering to stop, and every game that you played so far has been freezing every other minute, and there needs to be some optimization ASAP. And that right there, I don't know if this patch has mentioned anything about that, at least from what I've read. So I can't tell you if that's been resolved yet, but hopefully it has. The third and final comment is by Enough With Your Shiz. And you want the support stratagems to have some sort of weapon customization. That I can get behind. I personally, and I've even commented in your post, that I'd like to see some sort of customization with the LMG. I would personally change the scope. I think that would be a huge one. So there you go. Those are the top 3 comments. If you can, I would greatly appreciate it if you tap the like button, subscribed, and consider turning on notifications as well. Thank you for all the support, and I can't wait to see you guys inside the caves as we destroy several terminate objectives and exterminate them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.